It either draws possibilities or pushes them away. Think about this. Have you ever encountered someone who's always negative? Someone who moans no matter how good things are? How much success do you believe that kind of person attracts? Probably not much. That's because a negative attitude creates a barricade between them and new opportunities. Now, compare that to someone with a good outlook. They draw chances like a magnet. People want to be around them, work with them, support them, and watch them succeed. Just by altering your mood a little each day, whether it's becoming more hopeful or more patient, you'll discover doors start opening that you never even knew were there. Here's something to remember: attitude doesn't transform overnight. It takes time. It's about making modest adjustments one day at a time. Maybe today you focus on being more appreciative. Tomorrow, a little more resilient. The next day you attempt focusing on solutions instead of issues. Every day, you're putting a brick toward a stronger, more grounded thinking. Eventually, you'll develop something substantial and durable. And believe me, when your attitude improves, everything else tends to follow: your relationships, your work, your health. Next, you've got to focus on your communication abilities regularly. This is a significant piece of the success puzzle. Because life relies upon communication. Whether you're conversing with a friend, negotiating a sale, or just talking with your family, communication is at the center of it all. The better you are at it, the deeper your relationships get, the easier your business works, and the more influence you'll carry. Now, communication isn't simply about talking. In reality, some of the best communicators aren't the loudest. They're the ones who listen, really listen. They listen with empathy and try to understand, not just answer. Good communication is a two-way street. It's about expressing yourself effectively while also fully hearing what others are saying. And you can get better at it every day. Maybe today you focus on listening more. Tomorrow, you work on explaining your thoughts gently. The next day, you discover better words to convey how you feel. Little by little, you smooth out the rough edges of your style and become someone others truly want to hear from. And that's where the true power rests. When you communicate better, you impact more, you lead more effectively, and you encourage others to take action. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had a misunderstanding with someone just due to poor communication? Maybe you imagined they meant one thing, but they actually meant something completely different. And that minor miscommunication developed into a massive issue. Now imagine increasing your communication just a little bit every day. How many of those misunderstandings could you avoid? How many conflicts could you resolve? How much more trust could you develop in your relationships? It's something worth thinking about, isn't it? Next, you need to work on strengthening your self-discipline every single day. It's really vital. Self-discipline is the bridge between setting objectives and accomplishing them. It's the ability to keep going when you don't feel like it. It's the power to do what's essential, even when it's uncomfortable. And here's the truth: without self-discipline, success simply isn't possible. You might have wonderful goals, brilliant ideas, and more ability than you know what to do with. But if you don't have the discipline to follow through, none of it will matter. Self-discipline is much like a muscle. The more you utilize it, the stronger it becomes. And you can build it a bit more every day. Maybe today you make yourself wake up 15 minutes earlier. Tomorrow, you push yourself to work out, even if you don't feel like it. The day after that, you keep focused on your task without allowing distractions lure you away. These modest daily acts of discipline may not seem like much, but over time they lead to huge effects. Now here's something to consider. Self-discipline isn't only about willpower, it's about building habits. Because when something becomes a habit, it requires significantly less work to maintain. It becomes automatic. So a crucial component of increasing your discipline is forming habits that correspond with your goals. For instance, if you make it a habit to read 10 pages of a good book every day, you won't have to rely on willpower to keep learning and growing. The habit will carry you, and discipline will become second nature. I once knew a young man who was extraordinarily talented. He had all the potential in the world, but he lacked discipline. He would start new projects full of zest, but never finish them. He constantly getting captivated by the next new idea, leaving the last one undone. As a result, he never made genuine progress. One day I sat him down and said, "You've got to work on your discipline. You've got to train yourself to commit to anything until it's finished, even when it gets challenging, even when it feels boring, and even when you don't feel like it." And you know what? He took that advice seriously. He started modestly, accomplishing one small project at a time. Over time, He learned the discipline to follow through on bigger assignments. Today, he's tremendously successful, and he'll tell you that self-discipline was the key to it all. Another powerful technique to transform your perspective is by confronting your limiting beliefs. Many of us are held back not by external circumstances, but by the assumptions we have about ourselves and the world around us. We assume we can't achieve anything because we've never done it before, or because someone told us we weren't good enough. But these beliefs are merely thoughts, and thoughts can be changed. So each day, concentrate on replacing those limiting ideas with empowered ones. Instead of thinking, I can't do this, tell yourself, I'm learning how to do this. Instead of thinking, I'll never be successful, say, I'm on the path to success. Each day, you'll alter your mentality a little, and over time, you'll find that your entire outlook on life shifts. I once knew a man who struggled with his thinking. He was always focused on the bad side of life, perceiving every challenge as unachievable and every failure as permanent. As a result, he was stuck. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't move forward. One day, I sat down with him and said, you need to work on your mindset. Stop focusing on what's wrong and start focusing on what's possible. He took that advice seriously. He started small, reading a few pages of an uplifting book each morning, practicing thankfulness each night, and steadily shifting his focus from problems to solutions. Over time, his mentality shifted, and so did his life. He became more confident, more resilient, and more successful. It all began with the everyday habit of strengthening his thinking. Now let's talk about time management. We must pay special attention to time because it's the one resource we all have in equal quantity. How we use it, however, makes all the difference. Time is precious because once it's gone, you can never get it back. So, if you want to do big things in life, you must learn how to manage your time wisely. The good news is that time management is something you can improve every day. Maybe today, you focus on defining clear priorities. Tomorrow, work on eliminating distractions. The next day, try saying no to things that don't correspond with your goals. Every single step you take in managing your time successfully accumulates, and before long, you'll find yourself accomplishing more in less time, focused on what actually counts. Let me ask you, how often do you find yourself occupied but not very productive? How often do you squander time on things that don't actually move the needle, while the vital tasks get pushed aside? Remember, being busy isn't the same as being productive. That's why mastering your time management is crucial. It's about focusing on the right things at the right time in the right way. One of the most effective strategies to enhance your time management is by starting your day with a plan. Take a few moments each morning to determine your priorities for the day. What are the most crucial tasks you need to complete? What can you delegate or eliminate? And here's a crucial tip: don't just schedule your work, plan your breaks too. Rest is just as vital as action. Without appropriate rest, you'll burn out. So, make sure your time management technique combines both productivity and rejuvenation. Over the years, I've worked with numerous folks who suffered with time management. They often complain, Billy, I just don't have enough time to get everything done. My response is usually the same. You have the exact same amount of time as everyone else. It's not about having more time, it's about using the time you have more efficiently. So, if you want to improve your life, start by improving how you manage your time. It's a daily exercise, and with each passing day, as you perfect your talents, you'll notice that your life begins to flow more effortlessly. Next, focus on improving and expanding your knowledge every single day. The world is continually changing, and if you're not learning, you're falling behind. The more knowledge you learn, the more you can do. The more you can do, the more value you can provide. And the more value you bring, the bigger the incentives you'll receive. So if you want to stay ahead in life, commit to learning something new every day. How simple? Read, listen, and study regularly. Perhaps today you read an article pertaining to your field. Tomorrow, you might listen to a seminar on personal growth. The next day, attend a course to boost your talents. Every small investment in learning pays off. You'll find that as you continue to learn, you'll become more knowledgeable, more skilled, and more equipped for anything life throws your way. Here's the key: learning doesn't stop when you leave school. In fact, that's when genuine learning occurs. You see, official education may help you make a living, but self-education will help you make a fortune. The most successful people in the world are lifelong learners. They never stop upgrading their knowledge because they recognize that the more they learn, the more they can achieve. Mr. Schoaf was one of the sharpest guys I've ever known, but he didn't get there by mistake. He became that way by dedicating himself to learning every day. He once told me, "Billy, the more you learn, the more you earn," and I took that to heart. I began reading, listening to tapes, attending seminars, anything I could do to enhance my knowledge. And you know what? Mr. Schoaf was right. The more I learned, the more opportunities came my way, and the same will be true for you. Next, there's never a good moment to overlook your funds. Your financial condition isn't something that just occurs to you, it's something you create. Like any other area of life, it takes regular attention and progress. Whether you're attempting to get out of debt, grow money, or simply generate better financial security, it all starts with making little, consistent gains every day. Now, here's the truth. Most people don't actually understand money. They know how to acquire it, but they don't know how to handle it. As a result, individuals often find themselves struggling no matter how much they make. But here's the good news. You can improve your financial status a little bit each day. Maybe today, you start by recording your expenses so you know where your money is going. Tomorrow, you design a simple budget to make sure you're living within your means. The next day, you begin setting aside a modest amount of your income for savings or investments. Each of these modest measures adds up, and before you know it, you'll find that your finances are under control and growing. I'm telling you, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep. Some people make a lot of money, but they spend it just as rapidly as they earn it. They live paycheck to paycheck, perpetually on the edge of financial difficulty. On the other hand, some people who make less are able to save, invest, and develop money because they've understood the concepts of financial management. And the best part, those ideas can be learned by anyone. You don't need to be a financial guru to improve your finances. You just need to make tiny, sensible decisions every day. One of the most significant pieces of financial advice I ever received was this: spend less than you earn and invest the remainder. It sounds easy, yet it's really powerful. If you practice this idea regularly, your financial future will be safe. But here's the catch: it needs discipline. It needs the willpower to delay immediate gratification. It means saying no to unnecessary costs now so that you can say yes to financial independence tomorrow. And this is something you can develop every single day. The capacity to make good financial decisions, manage your money effectively, and invest in your future. Let me ask you, have you ever glanced at your bank statement and thought, where did all my money go? If so, that's a clue it's time to alter your financial practices. It's time to take control of your finances instead of letting them rule you. It doesn't require big adjustments, just incremental, steady gains over time. Next, let's talk about personal development. The key to life is progress. If you're not growing, you're stagnant. And if you're stationary, you're slipping behind. Every day, you need to work on becoming a better version of yourself. It's not about perfection, it's about growth. It's about always enhancing how you think, who you are, and what you do. Personal development is a lifelong adventure that you just can't afford to disregard. Maybe today, you focus on developing your self-awareness, understanding your strengths, shortcomings, habits, and tendencies. Tomorrow, you may work on obtaining a new talent, one that assists your career or personal life. The next day, maybe you concentrate on developing your emotional intelligence, learning how to manage your emotions and relate better to others. Each modest progress adds to your total growth, and with time, you'll become the person you always knew you could be. One of the best things you can do for your personal development is to set clear, defined goals that encourage you to progress. But here's the key: those goals must be matched with your beliefs, interests, and purpose. It's not just about accomplishing more, it's about being more. It's about developing into the kind of person capable of reaching those goals. And this is something you can work on every day. Maybe today, you set a goal to read one chapter of a personal development book. Tomorrow, your objective can be to practice a new habit for just 10 minutes. The next day, you might reflect on your progress and alter your strategy as needed. Each single step you take propels you forward on your road of personal improvement. Now, here's something vital to understand: personal development isn't just about obtaining new knowledge, it's also about shedding the things that no longer help you. Sometimes, to evolve, you need to let go of old habits, outmoded ideas, and ways of thinking that are holding you back. That's why personal development is a continual journey. You're constantly evolving, learning, and expanding. The more you commit to this approach, the more you'll notice changes in every area of your life. One of the most significant truths I've learned about personal development is this: you attract what you become. If you want to attract success, you must embody success in your habits, mindset, and behaviors. If you want to attract meaningful relationships, you need to become the kind of person who is deserving of them. If you want to attract abundance, you must cultivate an abundant mindset. And the good news is that you can work on this every single day. By improving just a bit each day, you can become more disciplined, focused, positive, and ultimately more successful. Next, let's talk about purpose. This is vital. Purpose gives your life direction. It's the reason you get out of bed in the morning, the force that propels you to keep going, especially when problems emerge. The secret is this: you must work on your purpose every single day. You need to consistently improve it, deepen it, and live it out in everything you do. Now, some people might say, "Billy, I don't know what my purpose is," and that's totally acceptable. Purpose isn't something you stumble upon in an instant. It's something you find and nurture over time, and you may make progress each day. Perhaps today you reflect on what's genuinely essential to you. Tomorrow, you take a little step toward your dreams. The day following, you connect your actions with your inner principles. Each day, you grow closer to living a purposeful life. Before you realize it, your purpose will become clearer and more satisfying. Here's the truth: when you live with purpose, everything else falls into place. Your work develops significance, your relationships expand, and your obstacles turn into chances for growth. Purpose is the cornerstone upon which a fulfilling life is built, and it's something you can build on each day. I once met a man who had it all: money, success, fame, but he was extremely unhappy. He couldn't understand why. Following our chat one day, I asked him, "What's your purpose? Why are you doing all of this?" He couldn't explain. He'd spent so much time chasing achievement that he had lost sight of why he wanted it in the first place. You need to find your purpose and live it every day. He took my counsel to heart. He began focused on what genuinely important to him: helping people, making a difference, living a meaningful life. And you know what? His entire life altered. He experienced contentment, purpose, and a sense of calm he'd never known before. It all began with the everyday practice of living with purpose. Now, one of the most important things to work on each day is gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful feelings you can nurture, and it has the potential to impact your life in ways you can't even conceive. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you change your attention from what's lacking in your life to what's already good. By doing so, you draw more positivity into your life. Being appreciative is something you can practice daily, and it doesn't require much. Maybe today you take a moment to thank the individuals in your life who support you. Tomorrow you focus on the minor blessings you often overlook: your health, your home, your employment. The next day, show thanks for the obstacles that helped you grow. When you're appreciative, your thinking flips from scarcity to abundance. Over time, you'll notice a transformation in your entire attitude on life. Have you ever had a bad day where nothing seemed to go right? We've all been there. But here's the secret: even on those bad days, there's always something to be thankful for. Maybe it's the lesson you learned from a mistake or the strength you got from overcoming a difficulty. When you focus on thankfulness, even the bad moments become valuable. That's the true strength of it. Gratitude is one of those things that grows the more you practice it. The more you focus on what you're thankful for, the more you'll find to enjoy. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, becoming bigger with each day. And the best part: when you live with thankfulness, you attract more of the things you're glad for. You build a positive cycle of riches, joy, and fulfillment that strengthens with every passing day. But remember, being grateful isn't only about feeling good, it's also about taking action. When you're sincerely grateful for something, you naturally want to give back. You want to contribute and help others to make a difference. That's one of the reasons why thankfulness is so powerful. It not only benefits your own life, but it also inspires you to make a great impact on others. When thankfulness becomes a regular habit, it affects more than just your viewpoint, it transforms your conduct. Gratitude softens you, making you more generous, patient, and empathetic. When you focus on what you have, when you appreciate both the small and huge blessings in your life, you begin to let go of that sense of scarcity and the fear of not having enough. And that's truly powerful, because once you stop living in fear, you start living in plenty. Let me tell you, living in abundance is one of the most profound transformations you can make in your life. Gratitude is like a muscle. You need to practice it every day for it to grow strong. Each day, take a time to focus on what you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be something big. Maybe today you're thankful for the sunshine. Tomorrow, you're glad for the food on your table. The next day, you're appreciative for the lessons learned via difficulty. Whatever it is, find something, even if it's small. The key isn't the size of what you're grateful for, but the act of being grateful itself. Now, let me clarify something. Being grateful doesn't mean disregarding your issues. It doesn't mean pretending that everything is perfect when it's not. Life is full of problems, but when you practice thankfulness, you gain the resilience to confront them without feeling overwhelmed. Yes, this is hard, but I'm still grateful for the strength to get through it. A gratitude switches your emphasis from what's wrong to what's right, and that gives you the energy, the courage, and the perspective to keep pushing forward. I once knew a woman who was going through a bad phase in her life. She had lost her work, her relationship had ended, and she felt lost. Every day felt like a fight. One day we sat down together. You have to find something to be grateful for, even in the middle of this storm. At first, she believed it was impossible, but she started small. Each day, she wrote down one item she was grateful for, no matter how tiny. Little by little, day by day, her perspective began to shift. She started to see opportunities where she once saw roadblocks. She began to reconstruct her life, and today, she's happier and more successful than ever before. She'll tell you that it all began with practicing appreciation. Now, there's one more thing I want to underline about gratitude. It's contagious. When you are appreciative for everything, everyone around you notice it. Your cheerful view spreads, inspiring others to recognize the wonderful in their own lives. Your generosity pushes others to be generous. Your appreciation for life can raise people out of their gloom. So, when you practice thankfulness every day, you're not just improving your own life, you're also improving the lives of people around you. And that's a strong thing. Take a moment to reflect about your life right now. Reflect on the topics we've talked about: your attitude, communication, discipline, relationships, mindset, time management, finances, personal development, purpose, and appreciation. How many of these areas could benefit from just a little improvement every day? And what would your life look like if you committed to making those modest, daily improvements? Here's the truth: sustainable change doesn't come from making one enormous jump. It comes from little, consistent activities made every day. That's where the magic happens. That's where transformation takes place. I've seen it over and over again. People who commit to improving just a bit each day, focusing on the process rather than the outcome, end up doing incredible things. Why? Because success is the inevitable result of little practices repeated repeatedly over time. So let me ask you, what modest improvement can you make today? What's one area of your life where you can start applying these concepts right now? Maybe it's your finances. Take a look at your spending and make one tiny modification. Maybe it's your relationships. Reach out to someone and tell them you appreciate them. Whatever it is, start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for everything to fall into place. Start with what you have, where you are, and make a commitment to improve just a little bit every day. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one simple thing you can do today to start creating that discipline? What's one area of your life where you can begin making those little improvements? Daily improvements. Remember, they don't have to be enormous, and they don't need to be perfect. What matters is that they're constant. Over time, those modest actions build up, and before you know it, you'll find yourself at a place you once thought was impossible. And never forget the power of purpose. Purpose is what provides significance to these daily gains. It's the motive for everything you do. When you're clear on your purpose, everything else naturally falls into place. Your discipline increases, your thankfulness deepens, and your motivation becomes unstoppable. But here's the reality: purpose isn't something handed to you, it's something you find and nurture over time. Like everything we've addressed, it's something you can improve on bit by bit every day. Maybe today, you take a minute to think on what really matters to you. Tomorrow, you make a stride toward aligning your behaviors with your principles. The next day, you find methods to serve others and make a positive effect. Each single step puts you closer to living a purposeful life. And when you live with purpose, everything becomes more meaningful, gratifying, and rewarding. I want to make sure this sticks with you, so write this down: life is a journey, not a destination. And that trip comprises of the modest steps you take each day. Every day is an opportunity to develop. Each day, you have the chance to become better than you were yesterday. When you commit to everyday self-improvement in every part of your life, you'll discover that the journey itself is the reward. So, what will you improve today? What tiny, regular step will you take to go closer to the life you want? Remember, it's not about making great leaps. It's about taking modest steps one at a time every single day. When you do so, you'll be amazed at the improvement you make over time. That's the actual key to success. It's not about luck, talent, or even sheer hard work. It's about the minor disciplines, the daily improvements, and the modest choices you make every day. And those decisions, my friends, are in your hands. I hope this resonates with you. I'm convinced that as you focus on these modest, everyday improvements, you'll begin to see incredible changes in your life. Keep going forward, keep developing, and remember, success isn't something you seek. It's something you attract by becoming the person you're supposed to be.